Hello and welcome to our new quarter of Discover Love Academy. I am Jacqueline Nichols, the proud founder and creator, and I am so excited because I'm also a professional matchmaker. So as I get to work with my fabulous clients, I love bringing so many amazing experts with our academy because the more you know, the more you understand, the stronger you can be as a person to be in a relationship that's healthy and strong. And what is exciting is we're getting a chance to learn from an amazing expert once again, and I can hardly wait for this class. So be ready, grab your pen and paper, be ready to take notes, and open yourself up to the possibilities of what you're going to learn. Paulette, I would love for you to introduce yourself. Let us know why you're a part of Discover Love Academy, and also a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Paulette Reese-Denny. I'm based out of Portland, Oregon, and I love Jacqueline.
Thank you.
I was really honored to be a part of this academy and these sessions with you. Last session we had last quarter was called Change Your Story, or Change Your State.
Yes.
Change Your State, where we got into more of the physical aspects of movement and how you move through life, but also embodying your energy, embodying what you feel and think, and how you approach people in the world looking to get into relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And also just how you feel.
Right.
You know, it's really important to feel good in your body, in your skin, and to feel your truth and feel your intuition and everything that moves forward with you with your energy. So today we wanted to talk about Change Your Story.
Right.
So
I love that title.
I know, I love it. Change your state, change your story, and then what comes after that? Change your life.
That's
next quarter.
Yay! I love it when things are tied together and there's a flow, and that's why I wanted to do this year program, because I wanted to pull that energy, and because I love working with people that I connect with repeatedly, because we want to build on that. And the foundation you gave us last quarter was really important. There were so many steps to it that were like aha moments that I still play back in my own mind. So I'm excited for your next layers here.
That's great. That's great. And they definitely do layer on top of each other. It's really important. And they're all aspects of yourself are important for yourself as a whole being, but also as you enter into a relationship with someone, whether it be a love relationship or a partner or work or, a creator, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a transformational lifestyle coach. I also own a global dance company. I travel the world and I teach dancers and I certify teachers and I coach predominantly women, but business people who are starting business, who are running business, but not only business, but lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And it's really important to dream big.
Love that. Right? Thank you for that. That is huge. And that is so important. People forget to.
Yeah. And allow yourself to do that. Sometimes we put up these blocks. We put ourselves into a little box. And you know what? There's no box.
It's so true. There really is no box here. Like, let's open it up. Let's look at the expansion possibility.
So get out of that freaking thing.
Right.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, so if you think about what's next, what is possible? What all is possible? I love that.
Right.
To be a possibilitarian.
I love that. Now say that again. That was awesome. Do it again.
Be a possibilitarian.
Awesome.
And that's a real word.
It is. I was going to say, is it a real word? I'm not. Thank you. All right. Tell me what that is. A possibilitarian.
So, to be a possibilitarian, to open yourself up to allow, to receive, to expand, to experiment, to journey, to live full on. Right?
I love it. Live full on. We need to. People are living so halfway, partially, tipping their toe in, not really going all in. And that is what they're missing out on in so many ways.
Yeah, it's so true. And, whether it be from fear or knowledge, not knowing how, not knowing who to work with or how to get help, how to ask questions. I mean, I can recall there was a time when I thought I knew everything. And I wasn't
What
going to
was
ask for
that?
help.
Exactly.
I wasn't going to ask for help because, I was independent. I was strong. I was Wonder Woman. I could do it all. And you need to ask for help.
Exactly.
That's what we're here for.
Right. And I love that you're bringing this up, because that is the number one reason that I am doing Discover Love Academy, because I've been working with people for so many years and they're so awesome and they're so incredible. It's so many layers in their life, but there's something blocking or not working in finding love, keeping the love that they want, and actually learning how to trust and enjoy it. And so that's why I wanted to bring all these amazing experts in, because if you can just get a snippet of information and realize, okay, this is just the beginning, but when you ask for genuine support and help from a professional you honor and respect, it opens your whole world. All those boxes get broken down really quick and a whole new perspective is aligned.
Right. Absolutely. And I think too, people, besides being just fearful of asking for help, they're also fearful of investing in themselves.
Ooh, you hit a hot point there. That is so huge, because then there's an expected outcome. Like, okay, I did this, whether it's investing time, money, resources, vulnerability, and it's scary to do that. But oh my gosh, it works. I have so many clients and they always say, if you just do the homework, it'll work. And they can't understand it till they're on the other end of it.
Yes. And if you open yourself up for that, you become a magnet.
Yeah.
You draw to
the good
magnet.
What you
ask for.
Mm-hmm.
What you ask for. Yeah.
Right.
So it's so good to take care of yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think that's a lot of what I find with my clients is the whole self-care philosophy. They want to take care of everybody else first. They're afraid to invest in themselves. They're afraid to take time to take care of themselves. And that's what we were talking about last time, was changing your state to really get into your body. Mm-hmm. They're afraid to get into their bodies.
Right.
Whether to lose the weight or move the body or move the energy, it's acknowledging yourself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so with the idea of change your story, we start to play with words.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope everybody has their journal.
Right. Exactly.
I got some questions for you.
Right.
But we forget sometimes how powerful words are. What are the stories we tell ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
What are the stories we tell others?
Right.
And we can make them up. We can lie to ourselves. We can hang on to old limiting beliefs. And I think that's really important.
Right.
It's so necessary to look at, because something you thought maybe when you were 12, I'm not good enough. My teacher told me I would never be a dancer.
Right.
Well, that happened to me. I mean, there's a story right there.
Right.
I was trying to go to ballet school when I was 12. I'd been dancing all my life. And they said, you don't have the body for a dancer. You'll never be a dancer. And, excuse me,
right.
I have a global dance company.
Exactly. Hello. Who was wrong there? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I didn't hang on to that belief. I hung on to it for just a short time because I was heartbroken, for one thing. Someone tells you something like that.
Exactly. Right.
Not really, but
it is that feeling of like, okay, they're older, they have knowledge, they maybe know, or they have more experience. It's so easy to believe that others actually know you better than you know yourself. And that's what's so powerful, is that you, once again, another one of the fabulous stories that people step back and go, hello, you didn't know what you could do until you actually stepped past that person's prejudgment of you.
But what that takes is really listening to yourself and trusting your own heart and your passions and following your passions, right?
I think you're such a great example of following your heart and your passion. Like what you do, I've never seen duplicated in, unfortunately, a lot of people tend to be carbon copies of others out there, and they forget how to have a unique style, a unique message. But you've always had who you are and what you represent. You don't see in other people, because it's authentically you, and you hold it, you're proud of it, and you resonate that. And that's what people are really looking for. What makes you uniquely powerful and who you are as an individual?
Well, and I think part of that comes from, letting go of any of those limiting beliefs and writing and rewriting my story.
Right.
Finding out who I am, listening to myself, who I want to be, and then it comes down to the why. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So one of the exercises I love to do, I do this one-on-one with my clients. I do this in a big group circle, but it's really fun. And it's the I am statement. So if I were to just ask you, like, Jacqueline, what do you do for work? What do you say? What do you normally just say?
I normally would say is I'm a professional matchmaker and I support people on their love journey.
Great. And I would say I'm a transformational lifestyle coach and I own a global dance company. Well, that's all pretty fascinating and wonderful. But I really want to know who you are. And for example, I might say, and this changes all the time,
right?
But you can work with your words. So everybody out there, I want you to just write your statement. What are you? I am a nurse, or I am a mother, or I am a, whatever. And then think about it. So, but what are you really?
Exactly. That's a good question.
It really is a good question. And it comes down to a lot of things. We'll come back to that in 1 second. So what if you meet someone new? And what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about, well, it's snowing outside and it's cold and blah, blah, blah.
Right. And it is a lot of blah, blah, blah. So you have to actually know what you're going to be talking about and who you are.
Right. And I'm not good for small talk.
Right.
I can't do small talk. I want to get down to it. If I'm talking to you, I want to know what you're about.
I want to dig in. I want to know what's happening here. Exactly.
So if I were to say I am, and I want to give you a story. Okay, how about this? Let me see. Like I said, it changes every time. I am a divine dancing goddess. I empower women with beautiful opportunities for growth and expansion. And I live life to the fullest.
I like those.
Okay.
Very much.
Okay, your turn.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Everyone listening, thinking about what are they going to say? I love this. And I want to get those answers from them. And I would say I am passionate about supporting people on their love journey. I am very proud mother and friend to the community that I have built. And I'm also very spiritual based in how I look at life and how I step back and look at things through other people's eyes. And that is a huge part of how I carry myself.
And that is juicy and fabulous.
Ooh, I like that.
Doesn't that make someone want to know more about you?
Exactly.
Like, wow. Now I know you're someone I really want to talk to.
Right.
Or in some case, maybe not.
Right. And then let's not waste our time because we don't need to talk about it because you're not going to resonate with what I'm saying. And that is so true because so many people keep talking about it when they're on a date. They're like, they only had good content on their, texting and emailing and phone calls. But once we actually met in person, there was nothing there because people are living at such a surface level. So this question is deep and powerful. I'm excited.
And it's so good. And you can take this and, I've practiced this over and over again with clients. Okay, let's take it a little bit further. What else is in there?
Right.
What else makes you unique? What else makes you you? Because everybody is unique, but sometimes it's hard to, again, going back to that whole self-care thing, it's hard to acknowledge. It's hard to speak it.
It is.
It's hard to say how freaking fabulous you are.
Well, and if you weren't raised to say, they would, we were told you're gloating when, enjoy it, share your radiance, express your brilliance. But it's such an interesting thing because we're taught it so often at a young age and from family or school or community where you're not supposed to say it. You're supposed to wait for others to say it. But there's nothing sexier than when you're meeting somebody and they're confident and they're secure with who they are. So there's no apologies. So many people, they're kind of apologizing for their shortcomings instead of focusing on what they have in their strengths. So having people do this, and as everybody's listening right now going, hold on, I need to really work on how I'm expressing myself, because if you're proud of who you are, people want to know you. But if you're not, then it's kind of like you're coming from an empty cup. And that's, as you talk about the self-care, is really, having something lush and full to share is huge.
Yeah. And also, I think when you exude that power and that confidence, when you can feel that in yourself, and right, you brought up the word gloating.
Mm-hmm.
And some people might see it as a boast or a brag, and I think that it's really important to be able to brag about yourself.
I think you should. Yes. Celebrate you.
There's celebration. It's different than bragging in the negative sense of that word. You know what I'm talking about? What's another word for that? What's the negative? I guess that is boasting. Some people think of that as boasting, as being negative. But when you really feel your own essence, when you feel your own power,
exactly,
empowerment, when you feel empowered by how you describe yourself, and I mean, and then you go back to embodying that.
Right. Yes. Right? That's huge. Yes. Okay. So tell me more. Tell me more about that.
So going back to changing your state, so starting to really feel those words within you.
Right.
So we talked about meditation. We talked about dance breaks and movement, percolating last time. And so if you were to, everybody, if you're listening right now, stand up tall. Shoulders back,
right.
chest open,
like
so that you're moving forward from your heart. Okay?
I like that. Moving forward from your heart as you think about your chest opening, and you're letting the heart lead forward.
So, and then you're moving forward with intention.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. And people are passive, but moving forward with intention. Like, write that down in bold. That just gave me goosebumps. I love it. That's what we have to be thinking about.
And that's what I teach my dancers all the time. Because you mean what you're doing. You walk forward. If I don't want to walk into that room, then I'm not going to.
Right.
But if I want to walk into that room, I want to walk in with intention.
Yeah, and you're going to arrive. That's the thing. Like, people walk in, and I'm so glad you're bringing this up, because people that aren't in their essence, they're not owning themselves. They walk in, like we just recently had an event, and you can tell the people that walk in and own it and be like, hello, I'm here. What are we going to go do? And then the people that walk in kind of like curled over, unsure, and they're tiptoeing in, like, don't notice that I'm here until I'm ready for you to. And that takes so much energy and takes away from their amazingness and brilliance to be part of something.
See, and I think there's extroverts and there's introverts. But I still think as an introvert, you can still walk into that room with power and beauty. It doesn't have to be, reaching to all the corners of the room. It doesn't have to be, hey, look at me, but it's, hello, I'm here.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And you can walk in, it's the body language, because even as an introvert, you can still own your physical essence, and you can target one person at a time to talk to. Whereas somebody who's more extroverted is going to go in there and go, hey, how do I make room through this whole place and sweep it, but they still can walk in with a similar body energy.
And think about it. Think about when you've seen someone walk into the room and every head is like, oh. And it could be that, that super exuding power, or just that beautiful confidence. That
exactly. It's not just the drop dead gorgeous or the super handsome person. It's the confident person. It's the person that is proud that they are entering a space and is curious who they will meet, even if they know everybody at the gathering or they're brand new to it. But it's more of, you can see in somebody's energy the anticipation. Are they going because they're like, I told myself I had to get out? Or are they going because they're like, I can't wait till I get to meet new people? it's in that languaging and that story that you're talking about, like how are we talking to ourselves is so powerful, and then how it translates into our bodies. So you are totally covering amazing, important stuff.
Yeah. So I think that when you work with that I am statement, when you start to embody your words, and maybe you have words that you don't like, so you change your words.
Right.
It's
that's
easier.
big.
It's easier than you think once you just see how you can do that. And it, just think about the words. So if you're practicing writing down, I am a divine dancing goddess, or I am a feminine force of nature. I'm going for the big stuff now. But you don't like those words. So think about what's another word that describes that.
Right.
It describes you better.
Right. What is your wording?
Yeah. So when you start playing with those words and you start, then you practice speaking them.
All right. So is it something like you should sit and just in your journal for X amount of time, kind of just practice sentences until they resonate, speak to you? Is it affirmations on the wall? Like, are we saying them as an affirmation, or are we just saying them as a new languaging? How does that all play?
Well, you could say it as an affirmation if you need that sort of affirmation for yourself. It's great. You can put I am a divine dancing goddess and put it on your mirror. So that you start to embody that. So when you're brushing your teeth, you can stand up and go, yes, good morning. I am a divine dancing goddess.
Right.
I'm just going to use that one because it's there.
I like it. It's sticking out. It's good.
Yeah. So as an affirmation, I think that's really good. You can also use it as an incantation.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So that kind of goes back to changing your state. So I think I mentioned power walks before. I'm going to have some water too here.
Yeah, I know.
I get so excited.
I know. That's why I'm constantly sipping my water. It's like, ooh, all this good energy.
So affirmation is a quietly stated observation and a positive thing to say to yourself about yourself, right? So an incantation is different because how does that sound to you? Can you feel the difference even in the words?
Yeah, that's why I was like, all right, expand on that, because that's a new way of saying it. So I want to hear it.
So it's more, to me, it's more of a powerhouse. And so when I do incantations, I do them not only with my words, but with my body.
Nice. Okay. I like that.
So for instance, I'll be on my power walk in the morning and I might start to say some sort of incantation. Right? So it could be, I am a divine dancing goddess. Or it could be, there's a lot of ways, a lot of things you can say. All I need is within me now. That's a really good one. That goes way back. Yeah.
Right.
But you start to feel it. You start to own it. So here's where your body and your words meet.
Yes.
So you see the levels that you can take yourself through.
Right.
And I love that.
Yes. And it's so important. We have to take ourselves through these levels, because wherever you're at now, it can get stronger. It can get bigger. We just need to own it and move in that direction.
Yeah. And if you stay in your head, you're dead.
Yep.
So you take those words and you put them in your body. Okay. Making sense?
Yes, exactly. Very much so.
Yeah. So you could take that affirmation and turn it into an incantation.
I like it.
So this is all play with words, and I am such a huge proponent of journaling. Yes,
I so agree. It is so important. And it's taking that little extra moment. Even after I had a client session the other day, I just sat and said, okay, I'm going to stay here for another 10 minutes and just kind of do my own brain download. Like, we can make the time to do what we need to do and get those thoughts. And it's so awesome to go back and review and see what you're doing. So what are some of the steps that you pull in for journaling to get the results that we're looking for?
Great. So for those of you who aren't used to journaling or some help with journaling, the first thing I would recommend is Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. And that's probably 20 25 years old now, but I recommend it to every human being.
That's awesome. Okay, say it again so we make sure we get it.
So it's called The Artist's Way.
Be Artist's Way? Or the Artist's Way. Okay.
The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, Cameron.
Julia Cameron. Okay.
And so when I read this 25 years ago, it was created for artists to kind of remove artist block.
Ah, that's powerful.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of exercises in this book to get you to go out it by yourself, to go out on an artist date, to go, find out some more about your passions and stuff, which would be great for everybody. That's what I mean. I think every human should read this book.
Exactly.
One of her journaling, and this was why I read it, was to get myself writing again, because I've been a writer.
I love it. Yes.
So it's called The Morning Pages, and it's getting yourself a little journal. I love these little composition notebooks.
Yes, they're great. I love how you have your own cover on it. That's awesome.
I put a little picture on it. I know.
Yes. That's awesome. Very much.
And sometimes I'll have journals where I will paste pictures and stuff.
Good. Yeah, you're such a visual person, so it's a great example of how to journal with visual, enthusiasm, inspiration, and guidance.
Yeah. So anyway, it's called The Morning Pages, and she suggests you get up first thing in the morning before you even have time to think about anything else, and download for 3 pages.
Ooh, 3 pages. I like that. Just, it's so true. And I love the phrase of downloading, because that's exactly what it is. We think of it computer-wise, but really our mind is so clean and fresh in the morning before we start really waking up and thinking, that if we can just let those thoughts flow, that's huge. So I like the 3 page. That's good.
Yeah. Well, it gives you, it could be 5 minutes. It could take 10 minutes. And it could be anything. It could be, I don't know what to write today. I don't know what to write today.
Right.
Habit.
Yeah, exactly. Routine, habit, flow, energy. Yes.
Yeah. It could be bitch. It could be, here's my list of things I want to do today. But when you get stuck in your head, and this goes with writing your story and rewriting your story, when you get stuck in your head and you have all this stuff in there.
Right.
You don't have room. You don't have any more room.
No, and that is so huge and so true. And it's also something that, all my years, I've always been a journal writer. I love to. And I'm also a writer, and I've written short stories and long novels. But what I've noticed, because I naturally do it, and my family does it, I've noticed, though, that so many people really don't journal. Like, to me, it seemed foreign when I've said it to clients, but I finally really realized people are scared of what they're going to write. They're scared of what actually is going to pop out. So how do you work through that when you're like, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm not even going to get started?
Yeah. Well, and I also find not only are they afraid of what to write, but they're afraid of listening to themselves.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's a volume you have got to tune into, because it's your essence. But that's also scary, because listening to yourself actually has a lot of good things to hear.
Yeah. And how can you be in a relationship with someone else if you can't listen to yourself?
That's huge.
There is an art to listening.
This is a part that I feel like people are so scared to hear themselves that that's when they go from one date to the next. They don't really step back and reflect. How did that date actually go? Where am I? How did I show up for that date? What can I get better at? How can I change so that I'm attracting the person that I was drawn to? Or why am I not hearing back from them? Maybe I didn't give them the signals, whatever it is. They're not taking the time to process it. They just go to the next one, and they keep just saying, oh, I just haven't met the one. I'm like, actually, you probably have met the one many times. You're just missing it because you're not getting this stuff cleared away enough to also hear them. Because if you're so full, you aren't even letting your thoughts process, but you're also not ready to hear new information.
Right. So you get stuck in those old stories, right? So you can't get the new information because you got the old stories. So you got your old limiting beliefs. That's stopping you from moving forward.
Right.
I can't have it. I'm not enough. I can't afford it. I mean, there's, that list goes on forever. I'll never find the one. So you
self-fulfilling prophecy if you just keep saying it.
So think about it, people. If you've said that, I'll never find the one. I know there's one out there for me, but I'm never going to find him.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. You're never going to find him.
Exactly. You're so right. And that's amazing what people say all the time because they think that makes us feel better, but it actually discounts you.
All the time. I can't even, every day. You stop and listen to yourself. I'm never going to find him. Okay, so how do you change that?
Right.
Simple. I haven't met him yet or her yet, but I know he's out there.
Exactly. Say that again. I love it.
I haven't met him yet, but I know he's out there. Doesn't that open up your world to a whole new possibility?
Exactly. You've got to own it. Just because you haven't found your person and you're single, no matter how long it is, you just either haven't been ready to meet them or they haven't been ready to meet you. But if you automatically cancel out, like I hear it all the time, oh, there's no good men left. There's no good women left. Well, of course, yeah, in your world there isn't because you're not inviting the positivity in. So, canceling that out is so it's just a valuable spot to stop and look at what you're actually saying. I mean, that's huge. And with journaling, you can be authentically honest because it's between you and your journal. It's not something that is being publicized. Nobody else is reading it. It's about you and what you need to release from your thought processing. And I bet a lot of times, and you probably see this with a lot of your clients, that when they're journaling, they later go, I didn't know I was thinking those thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was holding on to that story.
That's a huge one.
That my, in my case, for instance, they told me I didn't have the body for a dancer. I mean, I didn't hold on to that story, but a lot of people have.
Absolutely.
I'll never be a dancer. They told me I'd never be a dancer. Or my mother told me, or, I want to write a book. My third grade teacher told me I didn't know how to write.
Right.
There's tons of that stuff that you can
every person listening can tell you a story of when somebody said they couldn't achieve something they wanted to do. And many followed it and just went a new path. And others said, oh, no, I don't think so. I'm going to do it anyways. But at any point, there's been someone in every one of our lives that has said something that makes us doubt what we're capable of doing. And we have to make a choice.
And so on the other side of that, Jacqueline, so a lot of people want to identify with those old stories.
Absolutely true.
I'll agree. That's my story. I'm never going to find a man.
Yeah.
That's my story.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a martyr. I'm a victim. Maybe I got raped a long time ago and I'm a victim. Or maybe, I've been divorced twice and I'm never going to find the one. I'm a victim. Right. It's my story.
Yeah.
I identify
with comfort. It's what they identify with. But is that the story they want to keep going? Because it's probably not making them happy. The joy cannot come from repeating that story for so long.
Right. So again, it's changing your story.
Yes. That is so huge. Like I want people to put that across their affirmation. Change my story. Change my story. Like, what are you identifying with? What is your message about? But also, how are you coming across? Because there are people that come to me later after a date and just be commenting that they're either exhausted because the person is so stuck in their past story, or they're invigorated because of the person is so excited about their upcoming story. And we have to really realize that while we're processing, we're also projecting energy to the people we're around. And are we that kind of person? I mean, there's people I love dearly, but I don't spend a lot of time with because they're exhausting, because what they talk about is what they talked about a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. Their story has not changed. And so you want to realize, how can you change up your story to where you are current, but also where you're inviting and enticing to be around, especially when you're dating. And even if you're in a relationship, like, what is your relationship person getting out of your evolution, or are you stuck?
Yeah, that's huge. So, drop that past story, drop your history, and think about that I am statement. Go back to that I am statement all the time. who are you now? Who do you want to be? How can you project yourself into the future, and where do you see yourself?
That's huge. I have talked to so many people lately that I talk about the future, and they actually have no concept of that. They're so stuck in day to day to day. Like the other day, I actually sent an email and I said, Happy Tuesday, but it was actually Wednesday. And I'm like, because I'm just living my life. I don't care what day of the calendar it is. And I laughed at it later going, well, we'll see who notices. But what was important was that feeling of I was being present in what I was talking about. And I think that we forget how to be present, but then also how to dream forward. And people just are so stuck. They really don't, because they've been hurt. Like when you're dating someone and it's clicking, it's scary. I just talked to a client about this, how he was talking to her about things in the future. Like, oh, I want you to come to this in the spring. And it was like, well, are we still going to be together? And he's like, duh, we are. But when you're not used to that, or you've had courtships that have ended short, you kind of go, well, how do you know when to start dreaming of that and believing in it as a couple or in your own dating journey that things are going to be changing? So that's a big story to change. What are some of the tips that you give people to start dreaming into the future?
Well, I have a process that I call future tripping.
Oh, I like that.
And it's an envisioning process, and you can do it in meditation. You can do it in guided meditations. You can journal it, think about where you want to be. And this is actually part of what we're going to talk about next time, but change your life. But if you think about changing your story, what is it that you're doing now that you don't like? What is it you want to be doing that you do like or that you desire? Or what are you passionate about that you haven't tried yet?
Mm-hmm.
Or, maybe you want to lose weight, or maybe you want to change jobs, or maybe you want to meet that guy or that girl.
Right.
And what is it you want? Okay, so you can start to really detail. I think the more you detail what you really, really want.
Right.
Like, in your heart.
Like very specific detail of authentically, what do you want in your heart? Like, what is that? That's huge.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that that's going to be the identical thing that you're going to get, because I think the universe provides. I really believe in the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
The more you ask for what you want and you're in alignment with it. Does everybody know what that means? Being in alignment. Talk
a little bit more, because I think people think they know what it means, but yet they don't really know what that feels like either.
So if you do, I'm sure we've all done something and it just hasn't felt right. Or you said something and it's like,
yeah,
that wasn't a lie, but that just didn't quite come out right, or that didn't sound right, or let's go do this thing, but God, I don't really want to.
Right.
Or, I really want this new job, but that's not quite the one that I want. Or whatever. I want this car, or, whatever it is. But if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel true, then you're not in alignment with yourself.
Right.
And it goes back to what I said last time, going into that meditative state and listening to yourself and really finding out who you are and what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can do that with your journaling, with your I am statement. You can say, I want. What is it you want?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can start to write your list. What do I want? I want a new car. I want more money. Well, how much more money? Here's $1.
Let's get some specifics. I
can give you $1.
Yes.
You want more money? Here.
It's $1.
But I think that's really important. What kind of car do you want? What kind of guy do you want? Or what kind of girl do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about finding a relationship. So you can start to do the what do you want?
Right.
But then I think more importantly than that is, after you do that, after you make your list, and you can make 10, you can make a list of 20, you can make a list of 100, you can start crossing things out. Play with it. Allow yourself to be playful.
Exactly. Oh, thank you. Reminding you guys, everybody listening right now, be playful with your list. It's your list, but make it fun, make it exciting, make it a challenge in a good way. Like you want to have fun with it.
Yeah. And it should be fun. This is life. Life is fun.
Duh.
Have a good time. I really believe that. I really believe we are here for pleasure. We are here to experience life and have a good time and to feel really good.
I love that. We are here to feel really good. We are here for pleasure. And just hearing you say that, it's so true. Like we forget that. We think it's supposed to be this rat race. We're supposed to have rejection. We're supposed to go through the hard times. Relationships supposed to be so much hard work. And it's like, no, it's good work. It's the kind that gives you life and meaning and purpose and that passion. I love that.
Yeah. And again, play with it. I mean, write those lists. Just get them out of your head. There's another thing. Get it out of your head.
Right.
Get it on paper. I don't care if it's spelled right. You're not editing this.
Exactly. No spell check. You're totally fine. No little squiggly line coming on your paper.
And I think that is, speaking of that really quickly, is when you do start journaling, some people tend to get stuck because they start to edit.
Yeah.
And so don't edit.
Don't edit at all. There's nothing to edit. Your thoughts or your feelings are yours.
Yeah. Stream of consciousness. Just write it down.
Yes.
Yeah. No spell check. None of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then get it out of your head. Okay. Then when you've got those lists, then you can look at them and go, well, this one is definitely number 1 on my list.
Right.
This one might be number 99 on my list.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes.
Start to prioritize what's the most important thing to you.
I like that because we don't know necessarily what the most important is until we're downloading it all, writing it all down, letting it flow, and then go, oh, that one's giving me goosebumps. I need to work on that one. Or that one is more attached to an X that I need to work on releasing. You can't see it when it's all up in here. You've got to get it down.
And because when you do keep it here, you also get very confused.
Yes.
And you can get into overwhelm so easy. Hello, I've been there.
Totally. And you're frozen on it. Like I have so many journals all over my desk, and every time I'm heading off just to go maybe meet up with someone, I'll go a little early, I'll stay a little later, and I'll pull out my journal book that's in my purse because I want to just have that moment. Like, you know what? I'm in a relaxed state. I'm in a thought processing. Just be ready to let your brain, your heart, your mind release so that you can get these things out, because you get overwhelmed, you get frozen, you stop, you overthink it. Then it's no longer authentically the inner message you're trying to release.
Yeah. So there's two more points that I want to bring up, and I don't want to forget.
Great.
I'm making a note really quick so I don't forget. This and this. Okay, so going back quickly to the I am statement. So if some of you might know what some people call an elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually used in business.
Right.
When you want to quickly explain what you do. Okay, so if you were to get on an elevator on the first floor, and you have until the 6th floor to tell whoever's in the elevator something about you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whether it's about your business or it's about your life or whatever. So it's a really good way of thinking about that I am statement. So when you start to say, I am this, 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 then how do you make it more concise?
Right.
And it's kind of the same thing about prioritizing. What makes you the most beautiful you?
Exactly.
I mean, I could list a million things that make me me, but I can't say that in 3 sentences.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But yeah, how do you high concentration? I know, but that's good. That's a good, okay, how do you tighten that up?
Yeah. So practicing, making those statements. And I actually do this with my teachers. So I train teachers to be, I train women to be teachers.
Right.
And I think it's really important as a businesswoman, in my particular case, on how to state what you do, mm-hmm. why you do it. Okay. So then the next point, and this is really huge, is the why.
Ooh, yes.
This is more important than anything else. When you have what you want, when you have your list of what you want, if you don't know why you want it.
I am so glad you are bringing this up, because how many people, they just think they're supposed to be in a relationship. They think they're supposed to have kids. They think they're supposed to do this, and this. When it's like, but yet if you're not doing it, maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe you're supposed to enjoy being single. Maybe you're supposed to not have kids, or you're supposed to have more kids. But you got to know what your why is. You're so right. People are forgetting this part. I'm like, thinking everybody that's listening right now is going, oh yeah, gosh, I've gotten so on my little rat race of expectations and I don't know why. No wonder.
Well, and it goes back to those old stories.
It
like what you
said.
Maybe I'm supposed to have kids. Well, who said you were supposed to have kids?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe your mom said it, but do you feel it? Is it your why or is it her why? So why do you want to have kids?
That's huge.
I mean, I never wanted kids, so that was never one of my questions. But, why do I want to be a coach? Because my purpose is to empower you to change, to help you move forward in life. That's my passion.
Yes.
Okay, so why do you want that car? Well, because it's pretty. Okay. But how will it make you feel? And I think everything has to come back to how it makes you feel.
Right. That's so true. Because we do get things, we do ask for things, but we don't ever really think about how they'll make us feel, what our why is. And then when we get them, we're kind of like, eh. There's nothing really sparking it because it doesn't have a deeper purpose and meaning.
Right. Yeah. You can gain a lot of material things, but if they don't have any meaning for you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So true.
Yeah. And there's a great, a guy by the name of Simon Sinek, Sinek. He has a really amazing TED Talk about the why. He also has a book. He's got a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, I've seen some of his stuff, so that would be interesting and knowing about the why.
Really great TED Talk to watch, but it's so true. And it's if you don't know why you want something, then you may never get it. Why do you want to be in a relationship?
Exactly. Why? I mean, that's a really good question. And I have it for all of my clients to fill out our client discovery form. And even on our profiles, one of the questions is, what does falling in love mean to you? And I get comments all the time from clients later saying, whoa, those questions really made me think. And it's like, well, you should be thinking of these things, but yet no one's had them think about them. So we don't always know what the question is to ask. We don't always know what answer to be working on.
So true. That's great. That's great. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So, again, going back to your lists, why do you want that thing?
That's huge.
It's totally great to want things.
Yeah. Well, and like recently I was talking to a gal and she's like, I really miss, having someone, I miss being in a relationship. And I said, well, what is it that you miss about being in a relationship? And honestly, the only thing she could come up with, I miss having someone to text with. And I was like, that's true, but that was the only thing. Well, that's part of what keeps her from being in a relationship because she only had the one layer. But that's powerful to realize we miss having that person just to connect with, somebody that's thinking of us, someone to say good night to, someone to say good morning to. But that was the number one thing she misses and doesn't like about being single is not having someone to text with.
And that is a matter of connection.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all here to connect.
And it's words, it's validation, it's acknowledgement. I mean, it is so many in parts that we forget about that I was like, wow, how many of us are all thinking that? Like that are single going, I miss just someone to connect with.
And to go into that, what is it about that connection? How does that connection make you feel?
It's huge.
You gotta keep going deeper.
What's the next layer? I love it, and it's peeling it back so you can actually see what's in there because most of us are just spackle painting around, adding some duct tape and just hoping that it'll hold together. And then one day we might look at it and go, oh, that was kind of cool. But then we also get frustrated when we have too much time in between of not taking action.
Yeah.
That's huge. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we're almost out of time. I love it. You've spoken so much to my wonderful group of listeners and just really, I just feel like everyone's going, hold on, I got to get the notepad. I got to just start brain dumping. I know people keep saying to journal, but I haven't. So this is such a great, great moment. So as we're about to wrap up, Darlene, what are your last words of wisdom that you want to share with our group before we finish?
I'm just so excited for you to become that possibilitarian, to expand, to get out of the box. Remember, there is no box.
Right.
But to really think about your words. Think of how you talk about yourself, how you have conversations with others about yourself. And think about those old stories and those old limiting beliefs so that you can
Right.
release them.
Mm-hmm.
Only you have the power to change them.
Right.
Only you can decide that you want to change them. That's your choice. And I think that's like superpower.
It is. When we know what our power is and that we actually have this ability, everything changes. Everything begins to shift. We get stuck and we forget that. So this is that opportunity of listening to what you've been sharing for this amazing edition of Discover Love Academy, because you're helping and guiding people to stop and go, I do. Thank you for giving me my power back, reminding me what I have, and doing the self-care to take the time to write the 3 pages, take the time to stop and reflect.
And then just think about how powerful that will be in your next relationship or in your current relationship.
Right. Well, you're showing up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Think about the depth of how you show up and how powerful and beautiful you will be inside and out, and how you project.
Exactly. And when you do the work, yourself and your person benefit because of that next layer. So even though relationships in the past have been frustrating, when you're taking the time for this personal self-care, personal journey, and journaling, you will actually be able to show up better for the next one. So the chances of its success are far higher than the last one when you weren't doing it. So this is what really is important for you stepping into that essence. So I'm really excited that you're sharing this, and so thankful for all that you're giving to our group, and just that ownership of owning, like, change your story. Like, come on, let's rechange up the tape here. This isn't working anymore. So I thank you so much for everything that you've done for the group, and all the blessings is so huge.
Well, thank you. And I'm really excited
Yeah.
for next session yet.
I know. It's like, hold on, we've got another quarter coming up, and I love it. I love how all the experts are feeding off one quarter and giving into the next one. When it all weaves together, that energy is so strong and so powerful and so truthful, because it's owning really how this is a journey. This isn't a quick fix. You don't just put the key in and everything's fixed. But taking each of the layers that you're sharing to move to the next is what's going to get us to where we need to go.
So I wish you all many, many beautiful blessings. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for having me, Jacqueline.
Absolutely. It's an honor and a privilege to share your wisdom with our amazing group, and we look forward to next quarter.